Welcome back to the One Take Live cast. I am Jax, and tonight we are going to be joined by Another Day, Another Spray, and Wars by Paul, Ryan and Paul. I'm going to have them back on the show talking about their latest bits of work, as well as how has it's been for them. Let's invite them in. Let's accept. Hi Ryan, how you doing?
How are you, Jax? All right, brother?
Good. Good. How you doing?
All right, man. All right. Not bad at all, man. Been busy, boy.
Yeah.
There we are. Better.
Yep.
Yeah. Yourself, you all right?
Yeah, pretty good. Just waiting for Paul to join us.
Yeah. I see you've had a haircut now, like Jax, like a bit like mine, but.
Yeah. At the moment, I haven't cut it. I haven't shaved it recently because I had some tattoos, and obviously you can't put water on fresh ink. So,
Oh, where have you had a new tattoo? Well, on your head?
no, I've got on my back
Um,
and some on my arms.
I got you. I got you.
So I can't.
I haven't had one for a while now. I haven't a good few years. I haven't had a tattoo for.
Should get one.
Yeah. I am do one. Run off the room is a problem.
Hang on. He's having trouble if I invite him in. If not, click the press button again, Paul. By the way, nice work around the corner. Hey, Paul.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
All right.
How are you, Paul? You all right, brother?
No, not bad, not bad. How's it going? Back, all right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm sideways.
Am I sideways?
There you are.
What's
You're
that?
perfect.
Better. Oh my God. Cancel. There we are. I'm such a boomer when it comes to this stuff. I tell you.
My daughter just had to do mine for me, Paul. Don't worry about it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Paul. Well, welcome back to the show, both of you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
I know. I know. I can't believe, it's nice to have both of you on because obviously you do very similar work in the places of Wales and everything. So, it was inevitable to have you both on. It's kind of funny because Ryan has done some work just only around the corner where I live, and that's that lovely flower piece he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. We haven't actually met, have we yet?
No,
We
never,
haven't-
not. Never met Paul. I've seen all your work, mate. As I say, you did mention in the group chat we had before that I haven't been doing it that long. The first one of the pieces I saw was the one you done down in Cairo on the side of the calf. Very mining community.
Yeah.
That was a big inspiration for me to start that one, was definitely.
Wasn't it? Oh, wicked.
Yeah, I never, until you done that, I can remember seeing you when it first went up, and I thought, I've been dying to have a go at that for years, and it literally was one of the ones I thought, I'm going to try, man. I don't care how old I get it, I'm trying, and I've only been doing it, well, not even 2 years yet. That was about 2 years ago, I would imagine you done that, was it?
Right, yeah, it would have been about 2 years ago, yeah, because I think that was about when I started full time, because I've been doing part time for donkey's years, but then I decided to jump in and do it as a job. So, are you full time now?
No,
Doing this?
still a part-time. I'm a steel worker by trade. I still work in Tata Steel in Talbot. I've worked there for 32 years. So it's on my days off. Just when I do it on my days off, but the work I've been coming in thick and fast. So I pulled two other mates in, two boys in up for Talbot, Matthew and Ethan Cole, and they've been helping me because we've had some big projects come up. So yeah,
It's very impressive stuff.
Oh,
Is that the Think Creative, is it or something?
You do. Matthew and Ethan Cole, been doing it a lot longer than I have. Character, he's to have a hell of a laugh. As they say, working with other people is so inspirational because you're picking things up. Because I would still consider myself a novice at it. You know, you're just learning every piece. And I see some of your stuff, and I take my pen hat on, I would take it off because it's amazing making work. It's like mind blowing.
We're all still. You never stop learning, man. We're all still learning. I'm always getting inspiration off other people. There's a scale, and nobody knows who's at the top, and nobody knows at the bottom. We're all somewhere on that scale. You know, none of us are right at the top. So you know, there's always other people you can take inspiration from.
Yeah, 100%. And as I say, you're just working with different boys and seeing different work, and the more you integrate yourself in your scene, it just becomes a lifestyle. You'll probably be on a lot longer. It's just every part of your life, basically. You know, you just keep time to do the other things in life, family and all that, because it's just taken, you know, it's unbelievable how much I've got into it, you know what I mean? Just really dived all over it and loving every minute of it, I gotta be honest with you.
Awesome. Yeah, wicked.
So what's your
Say again?
the latest one you've done? Is it literally to the end of the past one up in Newport, I think it was? You say you've been doing a lot up there now.
That's right, yeah. Oh, man, I started that project a year ago in March, so it's well over a year I've been doing it now, and it's finally coming. Thankfully, it's finally coming to an end. Like, you know, you get into something and committed to it, and then it just gets up. The further into it you get, the harder it becomes. I'm enjoying it, don't get me wrong. And it's great exposure. It's a really big project, but it's graft.
Yeah, big projects. It's quite, you know, I find them quite intimidating still. As I say, working alongside the twins, there's so much, because, like, you know, a few jobs coming, I'm like, oh my God, this is the thought of starting it is frightening, like, you know what I mean? When you start, and then, like, you always at that stage, it's like, oh my God, what am I doing here? You just want to do it sometimes, but you battle through it, and hopefully in the end.
Everybody, yeah, you go through that ugly stage. That's what we call it, the ugly stage, and you think, oh my God, this is not going to work. It does. You get to the end, you know, because you chip away at it. It's like sculpted or whatever. You just chip away. You take off the bad stuff, add good stuff, and eventually it becomes something, you know, that you're happy with. Eventually, and even though it doesn't seem like it when you're halfway through.
Yeah, and as I say, it doesn't seem in any way like work to me, even when jobs are, you know, intimidating and, you know, they seem to go on forever. It never seems like you said, oh, it's just, I haven't at that stage at all where, like, this is work, because as I say, I go to the steelworks and that sometimes can be, I just think, oh, I would love to knock this on the head and do, you know, painting for a living, like, you know what I mean? But obviously, to go to that stage is
Absolutely. I know. I worked in the building industry for 30 years as a plasterer, and it got to the point where, I mean, I loved the job. Don't get me wrong, working in the buildings, fantastic freedom, but the actual graft of it, I thought to myself, am I going to be able to do this? Because we don't retire until, what is it now, 65, something like that. Am I going to be able to do it at 65? I don't think I'll be able to paint.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'll be able to climb up and down scaffolding and, you know, with it's a compo and climb up and down ladders, skimming, you know, or skim ceilings or whatever.
Yeah. Because when you've done, though, just interest, when you've done the Newport, the big ones up there, did you go all of a ladder?
All of a ladder, yeah.
What?
I trained on every kind of a ladder. I don't like working on scaffold because you don't get a good look at the wall on scaffold, do you? You can't really take the whole wall in because you're too close to it. And then when you stand back, the scaffolding's in the way. You know?
I done one in the steelworks, funny enough, for part of a documentary, that only Banksy documentary. I was on it, and I was only doing it at the time. I'd only been really doing it a couple of months, doing anything more than just, you know, little pieces.
That was the shark tank, wasn't it?
They asked me to do a shark on a round tank, and I
Considering only do a couple of months, that was fantastic, man.
And I literally wanged it. I didn't have no doodle grid. I just literally made the shape, just hoping for the best. And, you know, don't get me wrong, I can look back now, like, I think, oh my God, to do so much better now. But at the time, you know what I mean? It was enjoyable. It was a really good laugh. It was so much happening at that moment with the team watching it. And it was like, just get on with it, man. Just do it, like, you know what I mean? But that was a wee talking back, doing that off scaffolding. When the scaffolding come down, I was just like, oh my God. It's a fat shark I've ever seen in my life.
It looked alright, oh man. I like it. Yeah.
Sorry, Jax, we jumped in, brother. We yapping.
No, please continue. I'm actually liking this. It's you know, it's nice. You know, it's very organic here. So go right in.
So about the query, Paul, because I don't know what age about the say. How long have you been doing? What age is you? I'm assuming you're roughly about my age, 50.
50. Yeah.
Yeah, 49 coming up now. I am so not far off.
Ever since the 80s, really, when hip hop came over here back in the 80s, and the graffiti culture started to, take over. It was ever since then, really. Like we used to hang around together, a bunch of us, and we used to sort of copy stuff off Beat Street and breakdance the movie, that type of thing. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Since then, and then we kind of go from there, like.
Well, funny enough, the first way I got into it, I can remember the first time I ever saw graffiti, because I've been doing graffiti and stuff like that on paper for years. Well, I never tried cut on the wall. I don't know until, say, 2 years ago, nearly it was. Like, but I've got an album here. This is the first time I ever saw graffiti. And I don't know if you know this band. It was a band called Twisted Sister, who were a heavy metal band they were.
I remember.
Yeah. This album came out in 1984. I can remember that was some of the pieces I saw, proper old school. And I can remember inspired by that when I was a kid. Like, you know what I mean? It's funny how, even though I'm a massive hip-hop fan, exactly the same, but I come into it and noticed, started picking up on it through heavy metal music, weirdly, like.
Yeah. There's always been a bit of a crossover, haven't there, with the hip-hop scene and heavy metal, ever since, Def Jam and stuff.
Because I think they're both the same.
Rap acts,
I think they're both on the same level, personally. I mean, unique fashion trend, unique style of lyrics and way of music, a way of trying to make a statement via instrumentally or via with, freestyle, fashion, attitude. So that I think basically in like this, the heavy metal is peanut butter, the hip hop is jam. Or jelly, as our Americans call it, and it goes nicely together and makes a lovely sandwich.
I remember the first album I ever having a copy of, and I think it was only because it was so controversial at the time, was NWA Student Compton. I can remember that album when it first came out, and I'd never heard anything like it in my life. I get the Beastie Boys probably because Kerry King from Slayer had played on one of these songs, but when album came out, I just converted to hip hop immediately after that, and that was pretty. Was that late 80s? I was as well, I think. Like
NWA,
late to mid 80s.
Yeah. Well, the original pressing there, funny enough, I pulled a few out. They've had that for some years, like. Because I'm a massive vinyl head, so I pulled a few classics out just in case they come up in conversation. Funny enough.
Favorite for me all time, hip hop for me. Favorite all time will always be Wu-Tang.
Yeah. As we say that, I loved this in the 90s. Hip hop was just a boom bap, it was just a classic.
No, but the Wu-Tang symbol, that's like graffitied everywhere. I actually saw one, a parody of it, last weekend in Swansea. I was going down Park Street, where all the restaurants and the clubs are and everything, and there was a little graffiti of the Wu-Tang symbol, but instead of Wu-Tang, it had the Welsh dragon head on it, and it said Cymru.
I think I seen it, Jack. I know the one you're on about. I guess
I call that one. I call that one.
Yeah.
I call that one Wu-Tang Clan. I don't know who did it, but it was really good.
Yeah, and see with it, pop, I fell in love with all that early, late 80s, early 90s stuff, and go back a bit and discover this, that, and the other, like. But my probably favourite MC, I don't know if you see it, I'm so sunny here. I know you're going to know that one. Big Daddy
Wait, look, let me get my glasses on, let me see.
Big Daddy Kane.
Yeah, all right, you see Big Daddy Kane, yeah.
That is probably one of my favourite. It's a Big Daddy thing. It's probably one of my favourite hip hop albums. Absolute classic. That was like.
Yeah, Big Daddy Kane. Lyrically is good, but he had a good rap voice as well. Big Daddy Kane, good strong rap voice.
Yeah,
I think him and LL Cool J at the time were awesome and really powerful voices for rappers.
Yeah. Do you listen to a lot of hip hop? Or do you still listen? Or you do all different types of music? Or?
No, to be honest though, I don't really anymore. I can't remember that. I probably, during the 90s, I sort of drifted away from rap music. I discovered Nirvana. That's what it was. I was in TJ's. I heard Nirvana for the first time, right? And I went, oh my God.
Mind blowing.
Yeah, it was one of those moments. It was like, and I just stopped listening to rap music and then started listening to, well, it wasn't just grunge. I started listening to all guitar music again. Like I used to before I started listening to rap music, but kind of a bit of both now, wherever really.
I would say there's not a lot I'm on into, as I say, I'm a big vinyl collector, all of that. I've been for years, like, but I can listen to jazz, to blues, to massive reggae fan, massive ska music fan, especially collecting.
It's like, exactly, it's like anything. As long as you get to that point in your life where you listen to anything, as long as it's good quality and it talks to you. Because genres don't mean nothing anymore, do they? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like you still like the genres that we used to like, do you know what I mean? But if you hear something on the radio or wherever and it speaks to you, it doesn't matter what it is, does it?
Whatever pleases your ears. Whatever pleases your ears. I think that's the relevancy.
It tickles.
Yeah.
Times all the kind of what's the word, gatekeeping thing where like a lot of metal fans are strictly metal and won't listen to anything else, and I suppose it's the same for a lot of other genres, but I've never got it personally. You know what I mean? I can literally listen to John Coltrane today and then half hour I can listen to something super heavy like Slayer or something, so...
Yeah, exactly. I've gone through all different phases. Wherever came out, wherever was popular at the time, I was like, oh, I quite like the sound of that. I'm going to be into new metal now. Or I'm going to be into grunge. Or whatever it was, whatever the phase was. That's what you're being bombarded with on the radio. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I think when people get into genres, it's because of that. They're bombarded with it and they slip into it. Music, art is art.
I mean, the funny as I get older as well is a lot of nostalgia in music for me as well. I listened to a lot of stuff from when I was a kid, and I asked, rediscovering things as things back, because there's no better thing to bring back memories of music. Sometimes you go listen to something and, oh my God, it puts you straight back to that place and time and what you know, the feelings and blah, 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 blah. I could put an album on I'm listening for a long time, and it's like, you know, like even now I could put like a 90s album, like I put Tricky on you. I don't remember Tricky Max and Crazy album. Oh my God. It was like getting all my Massive Attack records back out the Portishead and all that Bristol scene was all, and I had this all along. It was uninspiring, and I didn't listen to it, like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally.
What have you both listened to recently to get you in the mood of recent work and everything? Like you've gone, yep, let's grab the cans and let's get going.
What did I have? I think the last time I was in my studio actually listening to an album, I think it was Simon and Garfunkel of all things. Because I like something in the background that isn't going to distract me, but will also, you know, help with the flow. You know what I mean? And it's bands like Simon and Garfunkel, Bob Dylan I often put on as well, because it's there and it's not in your face. It's just something, you know, you can tune in and out of easily. Like, yeah. So I think if I'm in my studio and I'm listening to music, it's something along those lines. Give me something from the 70s. Yeah.
I'm a massive fan of 70s music, as I say, all genres, but as I say, 70s was like probably the classic time. I think if we had to pick a decade of music where from the reggae stuff that was out in the 70s, you know, the classic rock stuff, it was so much good. You know, you pull some of the best albums that they came out in the 70s, and I mean, that was Black Sabbath and Zeppelin as well. It's so much classic music came out in that period from 70 to 80, I suppose you'd say. It's
when metal was born, really, wasn't it? With Black Sabbath and whatever.
February the 13th, 1970, Black Sabbath's first album come out, and the music and everything. Funny enough, look at the t-shirt they got on Jax, you would appreciate that. It's from the film Black Sabbath that they took the name from.
Yeah, the original horror movie, yeah.
Horror movie, yes. And the t-shirt is, I would love to do a spring of that. I don't think there's many people who would jump on it, but I would love to do a spring of that.
Do it. Speaking of horror, you've both done some pieces I quite liked recently, or it's been there for a while, but I've discovered recently. I liked your Hannibal Lecter and your Boris Karloff. Can you talk about them?
Go on, do.
Well, so I go first. The Boris Karloff was just one I've always wanted to do. What a classic image. We done Limpid Street at the Talbot, which is a free wall. A load of us turned up one day to all do a piece. I think it's me thinking who was there up together. There was Jenks from Leslie, Sock was there, Jiggs from Barry, the brothers Aidan and Matthew Cole. A load of us turned up and we all done a piece that day. It was great. That was one of the days I was watching everybody like an hawk. I was. How did they do it? How did they do it? Because again, I was still really learning at that point. So, and it's still there. It's one of the ones, I don't know why, from whatever, we done it, a while ago now, and it's still there. Nobody gone over it yet, which is a miracle, really.
Brilliant, yeah. It's a good piece. It's a good piece. It's like you said, it's a very striking image, isn't it? The old Boris Karloff Frankenstein one. Yes, it's really cool. Just
fantastic. I was saying to Hannibal Lecter.
That was, the guy that owned the wall. He contacted me. He said he's got this wall and he wants Anthony Hopkins painted on it. And he showed me. He said, "I want this picture of Hannibal Lecter." And I really I wanted to do it. So I said, "Look," I said, "buy the paint. I'll come and do it for free." I didn't know anything about what was going on in Portal at the time with the artwork.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything to do with that. I just went down and did it because I really wanted to do that painting.
Yeah.
But, it went on and became part of the art thing then. It was on the app and what have you. But that's all that was. I really liked the image. I just fancied having a go at painting it. I didn't know how it was going to turn out, so I didn't, it wasn't a commission as such. So to do it.
Yeah, it's nice to have those, be able to go and do something, there's nothing better than doing what you want to do. You choosing what you want to do and going out and it's exciting because you know what I mean. There can be some jobs, I don't enjoy every job. Some things can sometimes be like, well, another half a you probably have to. Oh gosh, when you're doing it every day, more often than not, you're doing something. And don't get me wrong, it's the best job in the world. I feel incredibly privileged that I'm able to paint for a living. But endless Liverpool and Man United bedroom walls, after a while they all become the same. You know what I mean? So it's nice, don't get me wrong, I like doing them, but it's nice to be able to go out and do exactly what you want to paint, somewhere where lots of people can see it as well. Because the other day we done a tribute to Lemmy from Motorhead. I'm a massive Motorhead fan, and we done a Lemmy, a big massive section on the Bridge Street Wall with Lemmy, and a few of us are there doing it, and it was so cool to be doing something. Because I have actually done one of them before. You don't even know the famous Motorhead logo, but this one, and it came out really good because one of the boys, Aidan, was doing done a portrait of Lemmy, did, and that came out phenomenal,
Yeah.
What was it like doing the manta ray? Speaking of going back to Secret, I really like the manta ray. What sort of how did that day feel?
Oh, that was cool. That was amazing. That's one of the most recent projects we done. That was in Puffcall. That was Jack's. Yeah, I was over in Puffcall. We done that. The subway they wanted done. So we basically, because it was a narrow, long subway, we decided to try to make it look like an aquarium, and that manta ray was just on that wall there. It was like, yeah, it was really cool.
And what was it like doing John Lennon?
John Lennon, wow, that was a big wall. That was probably one of the biggest walls that I've done. It was a full pine end. You see people do full pine ends all the time, especially in Bristol and places like that. It's fantastic. I'd always wanted to do one. So I knew the guy that did the house. He said, "Can you do this?" I said, "Well, I'll have a go." Just jumped in and I cracked it, and that was off scaffolding.
Yeah,
which it's difficult to work. Like you said, it's difficult to work with scaffolding because you can't really stand back and see what you're doing. So you just got to kind of do it systematically, bit by bit, and just hope the whole thing comes together. But luckily, that John Lennon piece is very it's very cellular. It's no fades. It's all individual coloured cells. So it's easier to sort of do small parts and then let the whole thing come together like a jigsaw. So yeah, that was the technical aspect of doing that. Anyway, I know that's boring, but for doing it, yeah, wicked. John Lennon, man, who doesn't want to paint John Lennon?
Well,
Yeah.
as I say, if I was getting to that, it's like, we have been funny enough. We've done one today. We've done over the Collins on a super rough wall. It was all, you know, it was just brickwork. It was nothing flat about it. It was all over the shop. It was just a really rough wall. And you know how you have to accommodate your painting to do and work with what you got. And the time to do a perfectly flat wall, you know, you can do a lot different than a super rough wall. Is you've got to, like tell you, just basically breaking it down to a super simplistic style and just to try and get it on there, like, you know.
Oh yeah.
Do you work at anything that we give them, Paul, or you become, you know, can you become more picky about the areas that you actually spray on? Because obviously you're going to get a lot different work out of a flat wall compared to a super rough wall.
Yeah, I do. I will turn some down if they're bad, because often you'll find clients don't think of it themselves. They don't. They got an image in their mind, and they got this wall which is really super rough, but they can't imagine how rough their image is going to look on that wall. They think it's going to magically make their wall flat.
Funny, isn't it? Yeah.
So sometimes you explain to them, say that's not going to look very good on this wall. It's crumbling concrete with, you know what I mean, big gaping holes in it and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be too fussy, because sometimes, occasionally, you can make a rough wall look better just by painting something on it. It all depends on the design, really.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, as you say, I'm the same at the moment. I do enjoy sometimes. I twist like containers, and obviously the containers are the same. You've got to do something completely different on container, and but just working with what you got, what you can do with what you got. Like, I do enjoy all aspects of it. Like, yeah, it's nice. It's a bit like a flat wall. Don't get me wrong. Like,
yeah, but they're not all going to be flat. You've got to accept that sometimes you're going to do sort of roller shutters and containers and things like that, which are awkward to work with. But like I said, adapt the design to suit the texture of the wall, really, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, stay away from too many sweeping curves and straight lines, and try and have a design which is a bit more fluid.
Yeah. As I say, it's all a learning curve. You know, I was going into it, and you know, I just jumped into everything at first. I didn't go to do a container with no experience. You just be doing containers, and then you start picking up, and you're wondering, why did it flake off the first time I did it? So somebody says to you, well, you didn't sand it, you say, no. You just learn. You learn by your mistakes, I suppose. Like,
yeah. And that happens, totally. I mean, that's the best way to do it, though. Just jump in head first and learn as you're going. I mean, eventually you get to the point where you know, like, way more than you did a year ago. And then a year after that, you'll know a year's worth more of knowledge then. Eventually you'll become somewhere near an expert.
Yeah.
It will happen. You start off rubbish and you end up good. That's the way everything works, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're going to get good, you know? Yeah. Just jump in and do as much as you can.
Yeah, as I say, what I do at the moment is non-stop. And as I say, I've been just lucky enough for whatever the plans are like for me. And yeah, it just kind of, you know, took off as in people offering to come into work and everything. And, you know, there's no better experience than just go out there every day and sticking something on the wall. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
You both definitely need to be in Port Talbot. Like, you both got 2 blank walls, and you do yours, and you're both in Port Talbot. Just go for it.
I'd be watching him like an hawk with his every move. I would, Jax. Picking up as much as I can.
Yeah, do you know what? I've been meaning to come down Port Talbot and get on one of those walls for ages now. Jenks asked me ages ago if I'm coming down, and I've been promising, I just haven't seemed to have got enough time. It's always something, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to make a date and come down and do something.
Well, it's exactly the same for me with the Valleys project with Matt Day.
Yeah,
didn't you went up there for them? I'm not sure the area. Was it Matt? Matt, I think it is. He's in the Valleys project.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly right. Yeah, Matt. Yeah,
you know, trying to get the time to see him. I'd have to come up because I'd have to come up and do something. But just one thing and another. I just say, and I work in a full-time job, just trying to find the time sometimes to do it, and a new job will come in, a new job will come in, and you know what it's like. Well, it's just you just try to fit it in then. Like as I say, a full-time job kind of cramps my style a bit.
That's it. It's hard doing a job and painting at the same time, and doing the both things. But you know, you've got to pay the bills, haven't you? I'd like to be out painting, doing a lot more of the Valley Street art. I've done one frame, but I'd like to be doing a lot more. But it's just finding the time. I've got to get those payers in. You know what I mean? Otherwise, nothing gets painted if I haven't got any money. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
But yes, that's talking of that Valley Street art thing. That's starting to really gain a bit of pace now. There's a lot more artists on board. There's tons of walls, you know. And we've never had that in the valleys. We've never had legal walls or anything like that. You have them in cities and stuff that are designated painting areas, or in recent times you have anyway. We've had nothing, so it's pretty good what he's doing there. We had, like, I remember back when we started, back in the 80s, I mean, in the valleys, you couldn't really be a graffiti artist because there was no anonymity. Everybody knew everybody else's business. If you painted something on the side of the wall, it'd be like, oh, Mrs. Evans' boy done that, you know what I mean?
You would know. Yeah.
You would know. So we didn't really have any. And then I don't want to sound flippant about it, but the pits all shut down then, which was obviously bad for the communities, but great if you were a graffiti artist, because you suddenly had all these abandoned buildings that you could just paint in and nobody cared.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Because they were scheduled for demolition anyway. So we had all these walls then that we could paint on. So yeah. But
I used to be very from the Coal Valley myself. I have a place called Black Wimbiers where I live, and it's given the villages here purely because of the mines, you know. So I come from that community. I know exactly what you're talking about. Right?
Yeah, it was like they were all shut. It was like in the 80s. It was like they were all shutting down one by one, right? And then you know it was bad, obviously.
I can remember the miners' strike, man. Yeah, I can remember that mid-80s miners' strike, being a little kid and seeing it all going on in my village. Like, you know, it was hard. You know, it literally left an impression on me as a kid. So I remember him going out, who, you know, proud working man who's living on handouts off people, you know, and that makes an impression on a 10-year-old kid or whatever I was at the time. I can remember it standing in these community halls and seeing it as a little kid, like.
Yeah, it was. I was about our age when it was all going on, maybe a bit older, but didn't really understand what was going on. You kind of knew that miners were striking, pits were getting shut down, but you didn't realise the gravity of it, really, when you were our age. Now, looking back, it was a terrible time for communities, because that's literally where, like, 60% of the men in that village worked.
Well,
they got nothing. Yeah. So, yeah. But at least we had somewhere then to paint.
Always a positive in everything, Paul. I see a guitar hanging up in the back of the wall. Do you play, Paul?
Pardon?
I see a guitar hanging up behind you there.
I used to be in a band for a while. Yeah, I was in a couple of bands. Pardon?
Same year, I was in bands. I was been in bands all my life. Same, yeah. We used to record. It was a band called Herb. I was back in the 90s, and we used to record up in like grassroots studios up in Cardiff. I don't know if you ever remember that. Like, and we were playing all around that scene and all around South Wales, up in Bristol, Manchester, and all around. You know, in the mid 90s. Like as I say, yeah, it was. I played in bands. Same, like. Funny how we all interconnecting things in it.
Yeah. I did love being in a band, to be honest. But I knocked it on the head because it was like we were playing in places, and you know, it ended up we were only playing to the other bands that were turning up to play with us. They were midweek, got to go to work the next day, and you'd be up till 12 o'clock because before the bands, you'd be waiting to get your drum kit back or whatever.
Yeah.
You got to work the next day. I wish I could get told.
A certain age, it doesn't seem so appealing, does it? Like,
oh no, the young man's game definitely. Like,
yeah,
good fun.
Yeah. So then you used to play around the scene, Paul, in Cardiff, and you know all about that.
We sort of in my first band. We were probably would have been around about. Let me see. It would have been maybe 2000. 2002, something like that. We weren't in part of a scene really. Like
Yeah.
we weren't very good, to be honest with you. we were just running through playing wherever pubs we could get. We played a handful of places in Cardiff, but I can't even remember now. I think it was a Toucan Club or something.
Yeah.
One of them. I think in Newport we played a few places like TJ's played there a couple of times.
Yeah.
But a lot of valleys, pubs up and down the valleys, we'll be playing. People expect in a cabaret band, expecting us to turn up and play Stereophonics. And we didn't know anybody else's music because we weren't good enough to play anyone else's music.
Yeah.
We just play our own.
Yeah. Yeah. I was pretty much the same. Always in an originals band. But you say we used to play all around, like the Welsh Back and the Point down in the Bay. I remember the Philharmonic in Cardiff. I can remember loads of venues at the time in Cardiff. But it was all around the time with Catatonia and Stereophonic, Super Furries, that mid-90s things. We kind of caught. So we did progress to having management and all the rest of recording up in Mono Valley, and so at the time, as I say, we were going pretty well, but everything time goes on and then nothing happens. But look back on that time, it was really fun memories of that mid-90s. I was in bands from the 80s and four of us jamming in the garage, old heavy metal cover songs and all that, and then we just progressed. And I've been in a few bands there.
That was a good time in the 90s, one for music, for a band. We just missed out on how I come into it a bit late, but it was a good time. You were at a sweet spot, and didn't it?
I remember seeing, for instance, a Stereophonics in front of about 200 people just before the first album was released in Nice, and we was such a buzz coming up and all that. I think I saw them 6 months later in front of sold out NEC in Birmingham. It was bizarre, to see that progression of some of those bands at the time in the mid-90s,
Yeah. Oh, bloody hell,
I think we recorded all of the same studio, Grassroots in Cardiff. I don't know even if you know Grassroots in Cardiff. It's got quite an history to it, Grassroots now. Because any people from Cardiff watching the show, I dare say they're going to know for certain it is, because there was a lot going on in Grassroots at the time. I can't remember the street in Cardiff. Maybe the street it was. Or was it Charles? I can't remember now. But see, we met a few people in there all the time,
Yeah. No, I don't remember that place. Like I said, I wasn't really on that scene at that time. When we was playing, what was it in Cardiff? The Barfly was one of the venues, I think.
Yeah.
I mentioned the Toucan Club. 10 foot tall or something is another club. I don't know.
Was some of these places here, they're unfortunately not there anymore, but 10 feet tall, Barfly,
and I moved my phone a minute, but I can't see it yet. I think my charge is running out, so never mind.
So how's the recent work been for both of you?
It's recently I've been painting a lot more canvases because I kind of I love doing murals. Especially in nice big juicy ones that everyone can see. But I want to start doing canvases as well, so I've been going down that route. And a friend of mine, he owns a gallery, Paul's Art Gallery in Risca. So he displays some of my work in there. So it's all right. So I'm kind of looking to go down that route. I don't know if Ryan, do you ever paint canvases, Ryan?
Yeah.
Or?
I've done a few, Paul. As I say, I got into acrylic painting a few years ago. Even that was before I started with the spray cans. But I really enjoy painting with acrylics. I got to be honest. And charcoal, I was loving, really enjoying it. And go through all the little different things and painting different things, and ended up with spraying walls.
Yeah. I'll try and do everything on canvas that I can with a spray can. Or that I might move down to an airbrush then for finer details and maybe work some acrylics in. But I want to try and do whatever I can with spray paint. That's I want that to be my thing, really. Like, it's really difficult painting on a canvas with spray paint. It's not difficult, but it's difficult to do something, you know, an image you got in your mind, to put that on canvas with a nozzle that squirts out a jet of paint an inch wide, you know.
Yeah. I think
I don't know.
one person give a shout out for there because he's absolutely mind-boggling. I know people probably know Jeff Paints.
Yeah. Amazing, mind-blowing.
The pictures to do it sometimes, I just think absolutely amazing. Like, I'm starting to watch his videos, I just think, yeah, how do you do that? How do you do it?
I don't know, and sometimes on really small canvases too, and they look like photographs, man. with a spray can, how's he doing it? I mean, I know you use stencil caps and stuff, but it's meticulous.
Yeah.
It's meticulous work. It's art software.
Do you use stencil caps, Paul?
Sometimes, yeah, I find them really messy. So I generally don't use them in people if I'm doing a mural in someone's house, like a bedroom mural or something. I won't use it because if I'm using a stencil cap, I either got to be able to empty it out on a bit of waste ground, or I need to have a bucket because unless you're wiping it every 10 seconds, it's dripping on your hands, it's dripping on the floor. You don't want to get spray paint on someone's carpet, you know. So I avoid them. Really. I try and if I get small details to do, I'll just find other ways of doing it with cutbacks or use a piece of cardboard shield or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because as you say, I used it, and on smaller things I tend to use it purely to get smaller detail and everything. But as I say, it's not very convenient that I even bought on the pink stencil caps. I ended up giving it to Jenks because first time I ever used it, I filled the tank up with paint and spit all over someone's patio. It put me right off.
Yeah. I got one of them. It's filled up. I didn't clean it up properly, and now it's just clogged. So there's no point in having a tank on it anymore. It just seeps out anyway. So
you see, it's the same as the Jeff. You little things that go over the top, and you're flicking it all the time just to keep trying to clear the paint and wiping it. But very rarely do I use one. If I'm going to do something smaller, I'm not confident to do with the can, and I might grab it and have a little go. But I must say, it's just messy, like in general.
They're messy, and I like, you like to keep your equipment as streamlined as possible, so you don't forget anything, and you're not lugging too much stuff around. Or you go to a job and oh no, I haven't got a stencil cap, and if you're used to using it and you haven't got it, I'd rather be able to do without all the gimmicks, be able to do everything I can with a little bit of cardboard and a spray can. But they are it's definitely in my kit.
I've seen all work on with all the canvases, and they are incredible quality. Again, absolutely mind-boggling, like really level, like absolutely amazing.
Oh yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, it's enjoyable. I mean, I've always fancied. I like working in the studio. It's my happy place, being in the studio. It's just like the rest of the world is outside. You're in there. You're in the zone. You got some music on, and you just paint, doing your thing. Eventually, that's my retirement plan.
And as you say, you get into all, like you said, you put stuff in the studios and everything, and it is an avenue you go definitely make a living in, because they are incredible,
Oh yeah, well, thank you, but yeah, that's if I can make a living doing. Then again, it is nice doing big walls, isn't it? There's something about that, like something about doing nice big public walls,
I really enjoy, the actual, as well as doing big walls, doing things in public and talking to communities and all. I really enjoy that aspect. Some people don't like the inconvenience, but like when we were doing the popcorn lately, it's such a busy subway, it's constant people, but I quite enjoyed the mingling and talking to the community and seeing because with we had such a weird experience, me and the twins did, Matthew and Aidan did. We went down there and it was a tile subway.
Right.
So we had to clean the tile first. So that was a day. Then with the tile, we tried to spray on top of the tile. It didn't like it. Of we had to prime the entire subway. So it was just like people I just don't think knew what we were doing, first of all. It was looking a mess because we had tried to spray with it and the tile wouldn't take it, and we were leaving you know, some doodle grids on the wall and people weren't understanding it in the community. And then as time went on, and once we prepped it all, the place where they come together, that whole change of people's outlook of what it is, because, you know, they've suddenly gone from thinking we are just down there making a mess and they want to see in a mirror, and the reaction was absolutely amazing, super positive, like, you know, just really enjoy the public part of it. I do like, funny enough, like.
Yeah. Yeah, it is nice interacting with the public sometimes, isn't it? You know, especially when they're appreciating what you're doing. Where is that Subway in Port Colin? Whereabouts in Port Colin?
I don't know, you know the police station in Port Call? Right next to Port Call police station. It's off the main roundabout in front of the fair, basically.
Right.
Just in town, opposite, there's a pub opposite called the Rock Inn.
Oh, I have probably been in that pub, I would imagine. I just can't think of which one it is now.
Yeah, it's just a subway between the old part and the new.
Yeah.
You go under the dual, the long dual going into the Port Call, goes underneath that, basically, it does.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you come around to doing that then? Did you just hit it, or did someone approach you to do it?
It came about through the Glen Council asked us to do work for them. They asked us to do, funny enough, the first one we done with the bowls all down in Virginia Town Centre, and we had funding for it for safer streets because it was an anti-social area, looking run down and all the rest of it. We'd done that one, and it kind of grew, and they'd done a few other areas that were looking run down, and yeah, we were lucky enough to just fall into it, really. As I say, we need everything, so you go on a line for me for some of these things, right?
Oh, good. That's another good one to have as well, because it gets a lot of traffic, people seeing it. Yeah. It's very public. I mean, it's all very well doing stuff in back lanes to break up a back lane, but when you're doing something like that in a subway that people use, you know,
yeah, because I always describe it to people, it's like a billboard, you know, put your own billboard up, you know, put your own billboard up, because, you know what I mean, you all sign our work and stick our little tags and everything is on there, and people maybe will look through online and all that then, and then more jobs come out of it, and you talk to people and things like this, what we do today. You know, sometimes you think, oh, look at that. I see, I was on BBC Wales looking at last week with Jason Mohammed talking about street art for the enough as well, and it's just these things just seem to have occurred, you know what I mean? I'm really not for any of it, you know, things that just happens, like, and you know, I love it all, it's great, meeting like people like Jax, it's all positive. Like this whole part and parcel of this whole thing, like concrete graffiti, whatever you want to call it. Like I'm not really picking the names, but some people are very, again, about YouTube and all that. No, it's between on walls, man. We're not doing, we're not taking people's brains out. Like, you paint shades and like between on walls, man.
Yeah, exactly. I know it was my phone. You're breaking up a little bit there, Ryan. I don't know if it's your microphone or if it's could be my phone, my speaker. So, yeah. So forgive me if I got it. I'm asking you to repeat yourself. I can only understand every third word you're saying at the moment.
Maybe my hand was over the microphone or something, because I'm holding my phone up because I didn't charge my battery like I did my arm. I've been out all day spraying the house. I didn't get a chance to charge it.
Yeah. Every now and again you drop off, but yeah, I can hear you better.
Seriously, you both need to work together or do something in the same area. And also, honestly, if you watch that documentary Ryan was in on iPlayer, to be part of something like that is just as good. But it's just nice of such two of you with your reputations. Obviously, you were quite inspired by his work and everything, and you've been doing it for a very long time. It's really nice to, honestly, I've just been watching in awe just to see, you both are really in sync. That's just my opinion as a viewer.
Yeah, if we both get a chance and we hopefully have a little break and our both have scheduled, I would like to meet up and come for a pint, or even just to watch you, Paul, because nothing but respect, yeah, brother. You know what I mean? As I say, I feel like I'm still learning every day. And I'm seeing his stuff, I got no problem saying to you, really respect all the stuff you do, really good, mind blowing about it.
Oh, likewise, man, we'll definitely have to do that. Definitely. I'll probably come down to Port Talbot soon, and if there's any wall space left down there and you'll have me, I'll be happy to get it on.
Well, man,
Do something to combined piece like.
love to do it. You know, and the thing is, but I dare say we've got many mutual friends in the scene. We can all maybe get down there one day and all have a little shindig, as they say, you know, have a little blast down there and have a meet up and have a chat and all the rest. Be great, like.
Yeah, have a proper paint jam. That'd be a good idea.
Oh,
Yeah,
I want to be down for that. I want to take pictures and, you know, I want to take pictures and probably get some interviews. That'd be cool. I'll be down for the paint jam.
Yeah, wicked. Yeah, definitely. We'll do. I will set up a paint jam.
Yeah,
Paint jam. That sounds so good. Do it like the Space Jam logo, but it says paint jam.
yeah, I'd be up for that, man. It'd be cool, well cool to meet up. Like, well,
Yeah, make that happen. Oh, well, thanks for being on, guys. Honestly, this is I got to actually view this episode more as a viewer than a present, and I got to say, I'm well chuffed. All questions were answered, such detail and thing, and honestly, I'm glad I arranged this.
really enjoyed Jackson arranging it, brother. It's nice to meet you, Paul. And as you say, you've got really well enjoyed the talking glass like to sleep me.
Yeah, likewise. Nice to meet you, Ryan. Brilliant. Yeah, let's get that plan sorted.
Nice one, brother.
Oh,
yeah, let's have a meet up.
Yeah, but the next episode has got to defo be a paint jam.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
100%. We'll try and get it done sometime this summer. Sometime in the summer now when the weather's nice. We'll find out. You're gonna know spots in Port Talbot, really. Anyways, you know this.
I know one big wall is just waiting to have some anyone there, Paul.
Yeah. Set it up. I'll come down.
Not doing it in the dark and running.
Yeah, but let's make that happen. Well, both of you keep up the work. Viewers out there, please check out Walls by Paul and Another Day, Another Spray. Honestly, if you love art, pulp culture, music, wall art thing, honestly, these are two, you know, these two. I mean, there's a lot of words for them, but well, you know, check their work out and everything. And when the paint jam happens, I'm going to be there broadcasting it live, and I'll get some fancy equipment for that. But honestly, thanks for both being on the show. Keep up the good work, and we'll have you on again soon. And thank you very much.
Nice one. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Stop, Paul. See you soon, brother.
Bye, Ryan.